Alright, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Alright, that's about everything. Sorry, I'm a bit late. I just wanted to see a quick short of Love, Death and Robots. Pretty funny. Anyways, yeah. Just gonna get started right now. Just maybe just change the screen. Oh, 1 second. Okay, yeah. Just want to make sure the stream is going properly. And we're going to start with Case 4 finally. It's been a long time coming. I did say I wanted to, like, you know, switch up from, you know, one murder mystery game to another murder mystery game. You know, like, going through each episode bit by bit. So that's what I'm going to do. Actually, I should probably turn on the music. I don't know, it's always so loud. Alright, I should do. Anyways, let's finally get started. Case 4. I kinda... I'll probably forget some of the details from the previous case, but you know, I think I have a general idea of like what's happening. I probably have to rewatch what happened last time. I remember, you know, me forgetting something about Case 3, so yeah. Anyways, whatever, let's start. No time for chit-chatting, B3PO. Up until now, we've been following Tyrion Cuthbert. I still don't know if I don't know how to pronounce the name. We experienced the world through his eyes and fought through justice through his soul. But this time, why don't we start from the perspective of another? Episode 4: Severed Ties. Ah, Ruby Tamora. I guess we're playing from her perspective. I can't believe Cuthbert read the client's mind without asking. It's time to become a problem. It's becoming more and more reckless with each passing year. I wish Frey was still alive. Sure know what to do. Oh, okay. Why? Okay. She made it look so effortless, and you loved her. Would you have listened to her if she was still here? Is something the matter tomorrow? No, I was just thinking about something. Well, the trial's about to begin. Oh yes, it's not exactly the girl from that second case, but you know, like she looks similar. I don't doubt your abilities, but I'll still appreciate it if you remain focused. All of our futures are at stake, after all. Of course, Miss Ferger. That's a very delayed introduction. What's going on? Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, there we go. Freelancer. Alright. That's what you are. Beatrice takes in a deep breath before she claps her hands together. What's wrong? Nothing. It's just the ritual that I use to calm myself. Right, I almost forgot about that. But more importantly, what are you doing here? Oh, hello. My father sent me to guide Beatrice to the courthouse. It's a new environment for her, and we were both worried about her condition. I still can't believe you were the boss's daughter this entire time. Why didn't you say anything at the academy? Okay. Oh, knowing what your identity would have caused friction with your son, wouldn't it? He's not mine. Anyways, I suppose I understand why you stay quiet. I still don't appreciate being kept in the dark about this. Oh, speak of the devil? You saw Cuthbert and McCoy walk into the courtroom with the other members of the gallery. McCoy spots you and gives you a friendly yet awkward smile. However, Cuthbert ignores you entirely and walks silently into the courtroom. I wonder what happened. Parental troubles? We had an argument earlier. Nothing to worry about. If you say so. You are worried about what he saw in Beatrice's mind, though. You've always been a good kid, but his idealistic sense of justice clouds his judgments sometimes. Show that he's not planning to do anything reckless. The trial's about to begin. Do you really have the time to be making small talks here? Prosecutor Stillwind approaches the three of you. But she appears to be accompanied by someone else. Oh, you're back too! Nightgrave? Is that you? What are you doing here? Well... He's accompanying me as my aide for this case. I see. So I assume you'll be prosecuting? Of course. I'll never pass up the opportunity to face the infamous Ruby tomorrow. Really? If I recall correctly, you haven't even beaten Tyrion once so far. But still, don't strain yourself. What's that look for, Beatrice? You almost look surprised to see me here. Considering the circumstances, I thought you might recuse yourself. I am more than capable of being objective. Especially for a case of this much importance. Well, I hope your mind is as strong as you think it is. Miss Stillwind, please calm down. Oh, I love a good reunion. Starting with the court case already, huh? Oh, I didn't even get to hear it. No! Ah! Those bastards! Ah! Anyways, court is now in session for the trial of Beatrice Frege. Miss Stillwind, is the prosecution ready? Miss Stillwind? Oh, of course. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready, Your Honor. Something seems off about her today. Is her personal attachment to this case distracting her? Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Stillwind, could you please list the charges? Your Honor, the defendant is charged with first-degree murder and grand theft. As many of you know, Stillwind... Fuck. Beatrice Frege is the former missing daughter of the now late William Frege, and the victim of the murder is William Frege himself. Yes, I'm aware of that. The people of Ravengard will certainly mourn the loss of House Frege's head. Please, the only people mourning him are the baking house shareholders. But anyways, did you also say that the defendant is accused of grand theft? Yes, Your Honor. The crime took place during the Lord's Ball, an event that was hosted in Frege's manor yesterday evening. The Harrisons' Hall of History had a gallery display within the manor. They were showcasing several magical artifacts donated to the Ravengard Historical Society. One of these items was the Sword of Spell Leading, a magical artifact that allows its user to nullify magical effects. Okay. We, the prosecution, believe that the defendant stole this item. She then used it to nullify magical locks on the victim's study. After breaking into the study, she attacked the victim and slashed his throat open using a letter opener. What about the sword? What? Wait, what about the sword? He died of blood loss shortly after. And that's what the guy looks like. I see. But what possible motive would the defendant have to murder her own father? William Frege said his daughter were not close, saying they had a strained relationship would be an understatement. In fact, 5 years prior to the murder, Beatrice abandoned and fled her home. She went into hiding and did not contact any of her friends or family. Her whereabouts were unknown until she suddenly contacted her father a week later. Oh, hello! Nice to see you again. Celine, not XOX, whatever. and as the kid, of course. Her whereabouts were unknown until she contacted her father a week ago. My client left the Frigga household because of her toxic relationship with her father. She wanted to create a life for herself that was free from his influence and abuse. I won't disagree with your claims, but that just highlights how desperate the defendant must have been. She had clearly fallen on hard times, but grudgingly contacted her father for financial aid. Fair enough. I can't possibly understand. Oh yeah, basically we're playing as Ruby now, and for some reason, Sherbert seems to be very distant with her. Anyways, I can't possibly understand why they would schedule this meeting during the Lord's Ball. But nevertheless, several witnesses did see her that night. And those same witnesses saw her storming out of her father's study in anger. Her father must have refused her request for gold, so she decided to murder him to claim his inheritance. Luckily, we prepared this in advance. Yes, they're playing right into our hands. Inheritance? What you're saying is all conjecture, Stillwind. You do not have any evidence or testimonies that confirms what they spoke about. Yes, I am aware that you and your client have refused to tell us what was discussed during that meeting. But as long as you both stay silent, my claims are plausible. Be honest, Stillwind. Do you seriously think that my client committed these crimes in spite of her condition? Condition? What do you mean by that, Mr. Tamora? Why don't you tell him, Stillwind? Tell the court about my client's disability. Your Honor, Pete Rise Frege is considered legally disabled. However, legally disabled? That's a convenient way of putting it, Stillwind. Oh, you have top. Oh, yeah, that's why. Yeah, Mr. Mara. Yeah, she looks cool, you know, with the whole, like, side sprite. Like, you know, we actually get to see her in the courtroom. Freak. Anyway, what was it? Oh, yeah. My client isn't just legally disabled. Special effects lag. Go! Just completely blind. Oh, blind, okay. Now this is... So that's what's happening, okay. Completely blind? Is that true? We have several medical documents and testimonies from several surgeons, whatever, attesting to that fact. My client is unable to see anything. She is completely blind, is unable to see through her eyes, being verified. What is the meaning of this, Miss Stillwind? Do you expect her to believe that a blind woman performed any of the acts you're accusing her of? I'm glad you also see how ridiculous these claims are, Your Honor. If the court would just let me elaborate. Stillwind, the prosecution's first charge is grand theft. My client would have to need to break into a magically sealed display case. Performing such an act would be a difficult task for anyone, much less my client. And the second charge is first-degree murder. My client would have needed to use the sword of spell eating on the lock leading to the victim's study. Then she would need to have to grab a letter opener, overpower the victim, and deliver a precise and fatal blow to the victim's neck. Does any of that sound like a reasonable theory, Your Honor? I completely agree with you, Mr. Tamora. It all sounds ludicrous, to be perfectly honest. This is just awful. The Stillwinds are clearly attacking the Fregas now that their head is deceased.
Objection!
Enough! Your Honor, the court has not seen the evidence that supports this fact case, nor have you listened to the question's testimony regarding their investigation. Until you have done so, you are in no position to pass judgment. Very well, Miss Owen. I suppose you have a point. Guess the young lady has some claws after all. But it doesn't matter. The case against Beat Rice is questionable at best. Frankly, it's surprising that Stillman even went through with this. It's only a matter of time before the judge sees things your way. To begin, the prosecution like to call Commander Orem White to the stand. This guy as usual. Commander White, please testify to the court about the Inquisition's findings. Right. Here we are, back in the courtroom. We didn't want to cause panic after the soul was stolen, so we activated the Manor's silent security system. It put an anti-magic field over the entire manor. We did a search of the house, and we found the stolen soul in the defendant's bedroom. It didn't look like she was going to run, and Crown Prince Esther told us to stand down, so we just kept a close eye on her. William Fergus was in a bad mood that night, so he had already locked himself inside his study. About an hour later, we entered the study and found him lying dead in a pool of blood. The lock was still engaged and no one teleported in. The prep must have temporarily disabled the lock using the sort of spell eating. We have testimony saying that the defendant was seriously in debt. She must have murdered the victim. Okay, that's obviously the contradiction. Ooh, I wonder where it is. The case against Beat Rice is just as he predicted. And you already have a countermeasure to disprove the existence of any motive. All you have to do is present that to the court. Anyways, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna waste time pressing everything. Hold on. Okay, yeah, we can still use the keyboards. Wait, doesn't the sword make the user immune to magical effects? An anti-magic field would have only empowered everyone except the thief. Whatever. Yeah, well, we didn't know what the sword could do until after the investigation. Up until then, we thought it was just a dusty old artifact. That seems pretty Okay, hold on a second, something's wrong. Okay, here we go. That seems pretty neglected. Are you sure you're qualified for your position, Orium? Oh wow, you got sass. The situation was unprecedented for everyone involved. One could hardly expect an ancient artifact to have magical capabilities. Anyways, what did you do after the theft, Commander? That seems like a strange conclusion to jump to. My client hasn't stepped foot into the Fergus Manor in years. After being gone for so long, her bedroom had to have been repurposed for something else. I'm not sure about the details, but one of the defendant's sister refused to let the servants disturb that room. I guess she was hoping that her sister would come back one day. Was it that girl from episode 2? You know, the other, what's her name? Whatever, I forgot her name. But you know, like, the younger sister. Oh no, it shows it here. Wait, is it? Yeah, this is her, yeah. It's funny how like a lot of things from episode 2 is actually brought back, you know, like all these characters. Anyways, I guess she was hoping that her sister would come back one day. How do I say that? Leaf. I'll just say call her Leaf. Leaf. And why would the prince tell you to stand down, Orium? Well, Crown Prince Esther knew the defendant well. He was confident that she wasn't going to flee the scene. Are you sure he just knew her well? If I recall correctly, the prince is still very adamant about her innocence. The Crown Prince is vouching for the defendant? Is this true, Miss Dillwyn? It is, however, I believe that the evidence found throughout the investigation proves the contrary. Are you sure your judgment is simply clouded by your jealousy? Your fiancé was previously engaged to my client after all. Oh, okay. You're enjoying this a bit too much. It's just like, come on, you know what the evidence is. You don't need to press. Did anyone see him enter the study? A few people, one of them was Lee Figures, the victim's second daughter. She said he was really irritated that night, so he went into his studies for some peace and quiet. I guess his meeting with the defendant put him in a bad mood. But if the man was covered in an anti-magic field, how did he lock the door magically? I'm not sure how, but the locks in the matter aren't affected by anti-magic fields. How? The magical locks generate a smaller anti-magic field around themselves. The two fields cancel each other out. It's like multiplying two negatives together. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. I'm gonna be honest, I have no understanding of these things. Is what she's saying true, Big Rice? Yes, overlapping anti-magic fields are a well-studied phenomenon. You'll just have to take her word for it. Like that, who was the person that discovered the body? The same person who saw him last, his daughter, Leif Frigga. Poor Leif. That must have been traumatizing for her. Did anyone else accompany Leif when she happened upon the body? Yeah, supposedly one of the servants got himself locked in a nearby storage closet, and he heard the violent attack through one of the air vents. When he finally got out, he told Leif and they went into the study accompanied by some knights. Okay. Anyways, this sword is integral to the case against my client, so why is the description of its capability so vague? To be honest, the sword is magic, but it doesn't seem to behave like any magic we know about. And we can't identify its magic like we usually do with artificiary devices. According to Lord Haraldson, its powers are demonic in nature, but if you ask me, it's all a bunch of hooey. Anyways, it's obvious that it doesn't follow the normal rules of magic. Wait, what? What is it, Miss Tamora? It's nothing. Cuthbert is watching from the gallery, so he must have heard that too. Could the Eye of Horus have something to do with demons? No, focus on creating the client first. You can worry about Cuthbert later. I wonder what happened, really. Either way, we tested the sword's magic on similar locks. When used correctly, it is capable of disabling the locks on Lord Frigga's study. And this is the one. You have testimonies? Wouldn't an official record be more valid evidence? Mr. Morrow, you and I both know that your client's creditors are not the type to keep such records. Oh, so you're relying on hearsays. One could conclude that. But it doesn't matter if we can prove that this debt exists. The Frigga's estate is unimaginably vast. Debt or no debt, that amount of wealth would be a tempting bone to any individual. She has a point. House Frigga owns nearly every banking house in Wavengard. People can only dream of having that much power and wealth. It's pretty weak. You're not really sure why they bother bring this to trial in the first place. You already have testimony from someone else that directly contradicts the commander's testimony. Yep. How do I go? Okay, no, not this one. Okay, whatever. I guess I'm using the mouse. And where is it?
Objection!
Objection! Your Honor, the prosecution's case against my client is ridiculed with holes. And the prosecution's proposed motive is the largest among them. What do you mean? What do you mean, Mr. Moore? Of all the elements in the case, the motive is the most believable. Your client would have much to gain through her father's inheritance. That may be, but that's assuming my client had anything to inherit at all. What? Your Honor, my client fled from her psychologically abusive father 5 years ago. How do you think he would have reacted to that? Lord Frigga was a petty and vindicant man. Do you honestly think that he would leave his inheritance to someone who disobeyed him so egregiously? No, he'll do everything in his power to make sure she didn't see a shred of his wealth. Yes, we're already well aware of this. The moment she slammed her cane down, you noticed the prosecution winced a little. but she quickly hides it and regains her composure. On the night of the murder, the victim made the decision to disinherit the defendant. However, his murder deprived him of the opportunity to submit his will to his attorney. This only furthers the defendant's motive. She would need have to act quickly, lest her father submitted the changed will. I'm afraid you're mistaken, Stillwin. William Frigga didn't inherit my client that night. He disinherited my client 5 years ago. I have witnessed testimony from Miriam Frigga. Williams. Okay, that's the youngest. Okay, that's misinterpreting who's is who. Whoops. Anyways, William's youngest daughter, by her own admission, her father disinherited my client shortly after she fled the household. What? She never brought that up during questioning. Perhaps she's not as amicable to you as you thought. If you don't believe me, why don't we call her to the stand and ask her ourselves? What are you playing, Mr. Mora? I have no idea what you're talking about. Well, it's clear we won't get anywhere until we hear from Miriam directly. Bellev, please escort Miriam Frigga to the stand. Miriam, is the defense correct? Did your father disinherit Bitras 5 years ago? Yes. I don't know, I forgot to do how I did the voice. And you didn't think it was necessary to share this information with me? Well, you never asked. If I recall correctly, you were also tight-lipped during questioning this morning. Are you staying quiet for your sister's sake? The witness just lost her father. You can hardly expect her to recall every detail that's relevant to the case. Which raises a more concerning question. How did you extract this information? Who knows? Maybe I just have a way with people. Regardless, you have a point. I'll give the witness the benefit of the doubt. For now. In any case, Miriam, please testify to the court about how you found out about Beatrice's disinheritance. Yes, of course. One day, we all woke up and discovered Beatrice had fled from our home. She left a note for us, and in it, she renounced her name and denounced my father. My father later called me and my sister to the study. He told us that he would completely disown Beatrice and remove any claim she had to the Frigga's estate. It was probably a threat to us in case we ever chose to go down the same path as she did. He wanted to make an example out of her. This all happened 5 years ago. And are you sure this all happened 5 years ago? Yes, even now I can remember everything clearly. I see. Her speech is getting slower. Is she deep in thought? Nightgrave seems concerned for some reason. And Leaf was there with you at this meeting? Yes, she was. Aye. However, Leaf couldn't have possibly been there. Her words are getting more slurred. He also knows that her balance is slightly swelling. Hey, are you okay? Of course, I. What? By the scale of what? Is that blood? Blood? Bellev, find anyone capable of casting healing magic. Oh shit. Escort them to the courtroom immediately. After some scrambling, a couple of healers are able to help Nightgrave stabilize the prosecutor. In all the chaos, you caught a glimpse of her. There were deep wounds and blood on several parts of her body. She must have used some kind of illusion to hide them, but her disguise has completely dissipated now. Before Stillwind is taken out of the courtroom, you catch her whispering something into Nightgrave's ear. You see a look of confusion from him, but he nods and makes his way to the witness stand. But not before passing a magic up to the Bellev, who seems equally confused. Just what the hell is going on? Mr. Nightgrave, explain yourself! What is going on? Why was Mr. Wynn so gravely injured? I'm sorry, but I wasn't actually here as Miss Stillwin aid. I was here as a healer. Her healer? The truth is, Miss Stillman was violently attacked at noon today. She was in critical condition, but she insisted on prosecuting the case anyways. I owed her a favor, and she asked me to channel my necromancy to keep her wounds closed during the trial. Scared Lord, why did she just recuse herself? She must have known. If anyone tried to prosecute Wheatrice, you would have handily won the trial. Nevertheless, she showed up to prosecute because no one else would, and she did it all despite the risk to her life. It makes you respect her a little. Almost. Anyways, is there any need to prolong this trial, Your Honor? What? Even you must acknowledge how weak the case against my client is. Okay, what is going on? In addition to that, Miriam's testimony shows that my client had nothing to gain from her father's death. Mr. Mora! Miss Stillman has been gravely injured, and you still only concerned about... The only thing I'm concerned about is seeking justice for my client. Even so, we can't move forward until we find another prosecutor. And how long do you think that will take, Your Honor? It's almost been 12 hours since the murder took place. That give us what, 36 hours? After that, every magical traces at the crime scene will fully disappear. But there must have be someone... If Stillman had simply allowed another prosecutor to work this case, we wouldn't be in this situation. She took a risk and she now has to pay the price. Will you agree, Your Honor? You're not exactly proud of winning this way, but this is what it takes to win. And you won't let an opportunity like this pass you by. Okay, you know what? Crack theory time. Crack theory. Hold on. In a second, we're gonna be fighting the protagonist himself. Tyrion Cuthbert. He's gonna be the prosecutor for this case. That's my crack theory. Right now. The judge is clearly unhappy with this turn of events. But it's out of his hands now. Well, due to today's unprecedented events, I suppose I have no choice. But there aren't any prosecutor available to immediately take Ms. Stillman's place. We'll take a brief recess. After that, I'll deliver my verdict.
Objection!
Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass a verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert? Cuthbert? What the hell are you doing? I don't know. But what I do know is there was a massive contradiction in Marion Frigga's testimony. But it looks like things aren't going to be as simple as you'd expect. Okay. Or are we gonna play this? Huh? The night before. Okay, that's what's happening. I feel so out of place here. Okay, this is weird. Starting with the court case right after that. I feel so out of place here. Despite your clear hatred for the nobility, you find yourself at a party filled with aristocrats. You hardly recognize anyone, but many of the people here clearly recognizes you. You're used to receiving dirty looks from the upper class, but you can feel everyone's disdain for you. Why are you in the corner by yourself? I can't believe you talked me into coming here. For some unknown reason, you lost your train of thoughts. Yep, they're falling in love. I've been wanting to wear this dress for a while now. What do you think? What's wrong? You suddenly feel extremely flustered. It's difficult to make eye contact with her. Oh, I see. Are you enchanted by my beauty? Come on, say something. Ever since that night in Aranex, you felt something has off between you two. Am I interrupting something? Miss Tamora? I wanted to check in on you two before we went to meet with Lord Frigga. You spot a woman silently following behind her. Is she the client that Miss Tamora is representing? You're pretty sure this is your first time meeting her, but she looks familiar for some reason. Hi, I'm Tyrion Cuthbert. I'm Miss Tamara's, what? You extend your hand to shake hers. She has an aristocratic air to her, so you hope you're not being too informal. Instead of taking your hand, she claps her hands together and takes a deep breath. What? Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. It's a bit of a habit of mine. Oh. Nevertheless, she finally shakes your hand. I heard much about you, Mr. Cuthbert. My name's Beat Rice. Not sure about the details, but your mentor appears to be brokering a deal between Beat Rice and William Frege. William Frege is the ruling house of House Frege, so you're really curious about what kind of deal he's been involved in. Where you learn not to pry into your mentor's business. Anyways, we'll probably be gone for a while. Can I trust you two to not cause trouble? You're in a matter with the highest members of nobility. You might meet some familiar yet unfriendly faces. We'll keep a low profile, Miss Tamara. Please do. So, why were you so insistent on accompanying Miss Tamara to the Lord's balls? That's... You know, you can tell me anything, right? I guess everything that happened in Aranex. There are Iris. Wait, what? I don't know. Oh, right, her name. Right, I don't know words, okay? Words are confusing. Please forgive me for not knowing every single word. Anyways, everything about Aranex makes me think about things. I don't really know anything about my past or where I came from. I didn't want to think about it because of my dad and mom, but you want to find out who your biological parents are. I do, but I don't know now. Now? Well, I think it's probably a typo. Oh, okay, whatever. Being here is starting to make me feel weird. I still have my mom, and looking for my birth parents feels wrong somehow. I don't think that's true. Really? Miss Tamara adopted me when I was a child, and she gave me a purpose in life. But I still keep my childhood memories of my mother close to me. Miss Tamara and my mother are both important to me. I don't think it's disrespectful to find out more about yourself, and I'm sure your mother will understand. You think so? Of course. And I'm also sure of another thing. If I'm with you, I doubt any of the nobles here will want to speak with you. Yeah, I didn't want to be rude, but don't worry, I can find something to fill the time. You're just gonna play chess alone, aren't you? Maybe. Okay, maybe just see the Beatrice. Okay, I'll try to remember that. Beatrice. I'm gonna probably forget like the next stream. But I'm not like that. I'm forgetful. Just remind me, like, it's not Beat the Rice, by the way. Okay. You're waiting to learn to talk to other people. Make some new friends or something. I don't need more friends. I usually spend most of my time with you anyways. Anyways, I'm gonna try to talk to some people. Yeah, I'll see you later. So last leads to mingle with some of the other partygoers. You find yourself very little to do, and you doubt anyone wants to engage in small talk from the likes of you. Your hand instinctively goes to your satchels. It contains your foldable chessboard. Well, it's not as if I have anything better to do. I should try to find an empty table to play on. Alright. Each table has a centerpiece of flour on it. Most of the seats are filled. Looks like you'll be able to play here. Okay, looks like we're moving to the hallway. This place looks pretty quiet, but there aren't any tables anyway. I could play on the floor. What the? While walking through the hallways, you suddenly find yourself face to face with a large wolf. Immediately upon seeing you, the wolf quickly gulps away. Did someone leave a door open? You think about telling someone, but you remember that the manor is full of nobles. You sure someone will spot it eventually, and it's not as if anyone will believe you anyways. Well, probably best to find somewhere else to play. There are several jewels mounted on the walls. They all look equidistant. They're really going on Therosaurus for this one, huh? It's just like, okay, what word can I use for it? Ah, yes, equidistant, whatever. Hold on. I'm just gonna look it up real quick. I swear, this is what it feels like, just like looking up all the random words. I understand the meaning right away. It's just like, hold on, let me just listen for a quick. It's just equidistance. Okay. They all look equidistant from each other. You already knew that House Frigga is wealthy, but embedding jewels into the walls, it makes the place look pretty tacky. Is that it? Oh, roof. They even have gold-tinted chandeliers in the hallway. It's ridiculous when you think about it. Yeah, it is kinda. Is that it, or? Actually, I want to see what. Go back to the hallway real quick. See, there's several gold chandeliers hanging from the ceiling of the ballroom. They look fancy enough to be worth a small fortune. It irks you how much wealth Lord figures must be hoarding to afford all of this. Yeah, rich people, am I right? I am a comedian, please laugh. Oh, okay, there's the sword. You look further around the manor and find a room with several displays. Looks like a gallery of some sort, but it's slightly out of place here. There are several nobles in the room. They all silently appreciating the exhibit. Perhaps Lord Frigga paid a museum to create some historical displays for the Lord's Ball. Now there's a face I haven't seen before. You take a close look at one of the exhibits. An old man approaches you. Is that a monkey in his back? Hello, my name is Harold Harrison. I'm a curator of this collection. I don't know how to pronounce it. Harold Harrison? Is that a Hesadian or something? No. Historian, okay. It's like the ultimate historian, okay, no. I see. Hold on a second. Alright. I see. Wait, he's a museum curator? Curator, whatever. He must be extremely knowledgeable about Irongod's history. You wonder, would you happen to know anything about the ancient dragons? Ah, like the Scaled Lord, Rithelion. There are many pieces in this gallery, and some of them were items that were yielded by the 7 heroes of Rivengard. Legend say that some of these items were directly enchanted by Raytheon himself. Enchanted by Raytheon? Would that mean that they also don't follow the rules of magic? Perhaps you should examine these items more closely. Okay. Harold Harrison. So, what is that historian doing at the Lord's Balls, Mr. Harrison? Harold. Right, Harold. Anyways, Lord Frigga invites my museum. Okay. Lord Frigga invites my museum to set up some display here every year. You must think it adds a semblance of culture, the fool. You own a museum? Yes, it's the Harrison Hall of History. Located in the city of Harith. That's a mouthful. It's not just me, okay? Even Tyrion is struggling. Unfortunately, I don't think the guests appreciate the historical significance of these items. Honestly, I think you're the only person in years who's taken a meaningful interest in them. Oh, I'll come back to you. Actually, let's just talk a little bit longer. Sorry, but I really have to ask, is there a monkey riding your back? Yes, this is my familiar, Eugene. Your familiar? A familiar is a creature that a mage has formed a magical bond with. Within that bond, our soul are forever connected. I can commune with him telepathically. I can even cast my spells through him if I wanted to. Huh. You're already suspicious, old man. I want to trust you, but you already have that characteristic. What? Okay, something's weird's going. I'm now confused. Like, if this was just another case where it's like, you know, like where we just start with this, I'll definitely just say, oh, it's this guy. But after like the trial, like, you know, that beginning part of the trial, I have no idea what's going on. Like, is it? Like, is it actually this guy or Iris? Iris, whatever. Anyways, whatever. Really? I never knew a spell like that existed. It's quite rare. Very few mages take the time to learn how to cast it. Alright. School of Divination. Duration, indefinite. Concentration, none, just as none. Red arrow. Yep, blah 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 blah. Bond. Then the cast, no other target can form bonds with any other creature. This bond can only be broken death. Okay. Eugene helps me with my day-to-day. These old bones aren't as spry as they used to be, after all. Alright, fair enough. Mr. I mean, Harold. Harold, as a historian, do you have a lot of knowledge about the ancient dragons? The answer to that question is somewhat complicated. What do you mean? Unfortunately, a lot of historical texts in my collection have been altered or even outright destroyed by the Church of Bahamut. Because of that, it's quite difficult to separate myths from the actual historical accounts. Right, I remember encountering a similar problem at the Imperial Academy. Ah, you must be dedicated to your studies. They let this simpleton into the Imperial Academy? Rude, but you suppose that can't be helped. I had to fight the church for a long time before I could even display dragon boats in my museum. In the history of the ancient dragons, was there any instinct of them granting powers to humans? Well, of course! That's the entire premise of the 7 Heroes of Wyvern. Does this Ian not even know about that? Right. But was there anything before that? Did they ever grant supernatural abilities that didn't follow the rules of arcane magic? Granting supernatural abilities, you say? That sounds more like something demonic in nature, rather than draconic. Demonic? Much like the ancient dragons, demons are the stuff of myths. There are many stories of people selling their souls to them for untold power. Selling their souls? Oh, okay, I guess that's it. Yeah, we don't have much. Yeah, fair enough. Trying to see if there's any interesting responses right now. Oh, whoops. So is it starting doing it lots of times? I guess just probably just repeat dialogue. Yeah. The feel. Okay, that's probably just a similar thing, whatever. Anyways, let's actually examine the items, I guess. Let's go left first. It's a pair of metallic armament armbands. There are several magical runes carved into them. Those are the bands of intellects. They were actually created by a member of the House Frega many centuries ago. Centuries? Don't make these armbands one of the first creation of artificery. That's correct. Legend says that whoever wore these armrests will be granted unparalleled levels of intellect. Many believe that the House Frega created these to aid them in their studies of magic. Alright. Depending on some sort of scientist. That man is Dr. Luke Cuthbert. He was an alchemist and inventor from one of these branch families. He's well known for his studies into imbuing intelligence into automation. Intelligent automation? Wouldn't that make them similar to arcane constructs? Yes, actually. I wouldn't be surprised if Lord von Sections used Dr. Cubert's research to create those constructs. So in essence, von Section is taking credit for someone else's work. Wow. With the paying of a researcher, that is Professor Matt Fairland. He was a professor of some renown. Hold on. Of some renown. Okay. He was a researcher of combinational magic theory. What's that? It's a study of how different magic interact with each other. He famously ran an experiment on what would happen if two anti-magic fields overlap each other. That's actually pretty interesting. What was the results of the experiment? Well, they had the mages enter the space where the two fields overlapped. It turns out those mages were able to use their magic in that space. Wait, how would that be possible? They would have two anti-magic fields affecting them. When the two fields overlap, they cancel each other out. I heard that it's a hint by multiplying two negatives numbers together. And there's that thing again. Anyways, what's this? Looks like an earring. Yep! It's a pair of golden earrings. There are small jewels embedded into each of them. Those are the earrings of vitality. It's said that the Scaled Lord imbued a portion of his mortality into these. Legend says that whoever wore them would have their lifespan increased tenfold. The Scaled Lord could do something, things like that. Of course, he is the Scaled Lord after all. Are there any spells that can create similar effects to these earrings? Not that I know of. A spell like that would probably fall under the school of necromancy. And I'm sure you know how much they keep them scrutinized as that type of magic. Yeah, fair point. And finally, the axe. It's a crimson red short sword. That's the sword of spell eating. Legend says it has the power to protect its wielder from any kind of magic. So it's like anti-magic field. In a way, yes, but it has a less than heroic origin, I'm afraid. It's said that this sword was created through a blood pact between a mage and a demon. A demon? Legend says that some demon had the power to absorb and nullify magic. A demon must have imputed some of that power into the sword. Or at least that's what the legend says. Is it safe to put something like this on display? What if the legends are true? Don't worry, these displays are fortified with several abjured spells. I bet even Lord Stillwind would have trouble getting to this. You recall the note that your mother left for you before she was executed. Use my eyes, peer beyond the divine gates as I once did. She told you to use her eyes. Did your mother make a deal with a demon to give you the Eye of Horus? Is something the matter? This symptom is far too superstitious. No, nothing's wrong. It's a bit too much to take in, but you might just be overthinking this. But there hasn't been any recorded sighting of demons in recent history. They're only second-hand stories and superstitions. The Eyes of Horror can't possibly be demonic, can it? You hope so, as this investigation is going better than yours. How dare you insinuated that I engaged in an adulterator's relationship? That's not what I... Enough! If you want to try to speak with me again, I'll have the King's gun to throw you out! This isn't working. I don't think asking them like that will be very effective. What? Do you expect anyone to be truthful with you? You essentially ask them if they cheated on their spouse. Have you been spying on me? Not intentionally. I was just surprised to see you here of all places. Right, I guess that makes sense. You're not party crashing, are you? Of course not, I came here with Ruby and Tyrion. That honestly raises more questions than answers, but I'll take your word for it. Anyways, you're looking for your birth parents, aren't you? I was being that obvious? It's the only reason I could think of. Why else would you be speaking with the members of nobility? I don't know if it's any of my business, but think about whether this is what you truly want. Getting entangled in the atrocity will only make you bring you misery. I read your files. You have everything you could ever wanted. You have your mother and your friends. You even have a lover. What? You're in a relationship with Mr. Cuthbert, are you not? No, Toro's not my... Oh, really? And the way you two behave around one another, I just assumed. It's pretty obvious you have feelings for him. What? How obvious? Did he seriously not notice? I don't think someone with his deductive reasoning skills would easily see through you. Oh yeah, what about you and Esther? I have no idea what you're talking about. Come on, I was there at Fallen Sanction's matter. It was so obvious you like him. Please, you're grossly exaggerating things. He may be my fiancé, but I only have the utmost respect for him. And what if I told you he was standing right behind you? Do you honestly think I'll fall for something like that? What are you falling for? Wow, we're just bringing everyone back in this case, aren't we? I like that, actually. Yeah, it makes it actually feel a lot more important in a way, you know? That's something I want to do with my Murder Mystery game. What are you voting for? Your Highness? Oh, hello. Hello, Miss Lady Stillwind. Your Highness, please don't run ahead like that. Your conversation with Herod was definitely interesting, but you still find yourself with very little lead. Be it dragons or demons, the origin of the High Horrors still remains a mystery. You find yourself returning to the ballroom, and you spot Celeste in the corner with some people. Is she with Esther and Stillwind? Hey Esther, what do you think of Stillwind's dress? It suits you very well, Miss Stillwind. You look lovely. Gross. As you approach the group, you're stopped by a knight from the King's Guard. He stares you down. What? Prepare your girl. The knight stares you up and down. Celeste hasn't cast any spells on you lately, so you shouldn't be able to see any traces of magic. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert! What was that all about? My apologies, though making sure you weren't disguising yourself with an illusion. The King's Guard are charged with keeping us safe. They must take every precaution to protect us. Oh, who might you be? Do not speak so familiarly with me, peasant! Alaric, don't speak to him like that! Why shouldn't I speak to him as I please? I am priest Alec, the Raven Guy's 6. I will not demote myself by showing courtesy to a commoner. Does he mean the mean? Child. I'm terribly sorry about him, Mr. Cuthbert. How old is he? 7, okay. I'm sorry about him, Mr. Cuthbert. It's fine. Anyways, weren't you supposed to be investigating... Alright, anyways, weren't you supposed to be investigating your birth parents? Leave the poor woman alone. She started it! Right. I'm actually quite surprised to see you both here. What brings you to the Lord's Ball, Mr. Javert? We'll just accompany Miss Tamara. Her client had business with Lord Fergus. Client? Hey, that's the client in question. Oh, hold on, what's his name again? Beatrice. Did I say it right? Beatrice? Beatrice suddenly storms through the ballroom. She almost walks right past you before she hears Esther's voice. She looks furious. Did her discussion with Lord Vega go badly? That voice. Is that you, Esther? It really is you. You call him Esther instead of Your Highness. Did I personally know each other? I'm glad to see you again. It's been quite some time. Is that really all you have to say? It appears you two have much to talk about. Yeah, I did it! Yeah, I know, I did it! Beatrice. I don't know if it still did that right. Oh, whatever. Beatrice. Yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, it appears you two have much to talk about. I'll be taking my leave. There's a bit of tension in the air. Celeste, we should probably get going too. Yeah. Wow, that was awkward. Yeah, I wonder how those two know each other. She's working with Miss Tamara. Yeah, she somehow knows Lord Fergus and the Crown Prince. Just who is she? Well, you're supposed to none of your business. Anyways, how did your investigation go? I got nothing. All I did was make a bunch of nobles mad. Sorry, I know you really wanted answers, but I'm sure something will come up. You think so? It might be a little irresponsible to give her hope like this. A noble abandoned her at a tavern in a rundown town. You got someone like that make themselves easy to find. Anyways, I don't want this night to be a total loss. Come on, dance with me. What? That's not really something I... Don't be like that. How often do we get to go to a party like this? Before you have a chance to object, she grabs your hands and starts dragging you to the middle of the room. You receive a few dirty looks from the aristocrats nearby. So as people are staring at us. Who cares what they think? They're nobles. They're gonna hate us no matter what we do. She takes hold of your other hand and pulls you into a waltz. I don't even know how to dance. I've never done this before. It's easy. Stop being so awkward about it. That's easy for her to say. Alright, just tell me what I need to do. Well, first, you need to be closer to me. With one swift motion, she pulls your body closer to her. Watch my movement and try to follow my lead. You seem to know a lot about these things. I had to do a lot of networking when I was a mercenary. Do you know how many times I had to challenge a merchant into hiring me? I see. You really don't know much about her, do you? You can't really watch her the position of her feet and try to... How do I do the keyboard, texting? Can I get rid of the text? I forgot how to do that, damn it. Is it this game or is it a different game? I'm just hoping I don't... Oh. How do I get rid of the text? After a while, you find yourself able to match her rhythm. I want to see what the image looks like by itself. Nope. Oh, okay, there we go, okay. Hold on. Text log. Oh, hide UI, okay, there we go. Yeah, look at that. How cute. Almost makes me forget that a murder's gonna happen very soon. How exciting. Anyways, But you still accidentally step on a foot every few beats. She doesn't seem fazed by it. Either she's being polite or she genuinely doesn't feel anything. You're getting it. Just don't focus on too much on where your feet are. Just look at me. What? Come on, do it. You try to make eye contact with her, but every time you do, you slowly find yourself being drawn back into her eyes. You feel so embarrassed that you're becoming lightheaded, and you find yourself pre-inspired more than usual. But at the same time, you don't have any urge to break away from her. There's a comforting warmth behind all the anxiety you're feeling. Ah, there he is, the infamous Tyrion Cuthbert. Never turn away from the challenging unknowable, but can't stand a step to save his life. The expression doesn't betray a hint of it, but you're still detecting a hint of nervousness from her. Is she just as fussy as you are? You find yourself relaxed a bit more, and you're somehow able to continue imagining her movements. See? There you go! Although... Hold on, let's just look at this image now. Alright. You got the screenshots. Screenshot moments. Actually, not really. Actually, I should screenshot just in case. Is that the right button? Okay, yeah, there we go. I'm not sure if you can see it in the bottom right corner, but yeah. You know the man is supposed to lead, right? And maybe I don't subscribe to gender stereotypes. Or maybe you just suck at this. Maybe you just suck at this. It's been a while since you felt this calm. It's always been something that you needed to prepare for. A client that needed saving, a corporate that needed catching. But you're quite content with one brief moment you're able to spend with her. You almost find yourself getting lost in the mood. Until you spot a familiar face accompanied by a legion of knights. No, don't tell me. The knights storm their way towards where Beatrice and Esther are. Beatrice and Esther are. Several attendees takes notice. They all stop what they're doing to see what's going on. Beatrice Verga, by the authority of the Raven God Crown, you're under arrest. Did he say Beatrice Frega? Like and subscribe for more stereotypes. Hell yeah! Coming up, racism and sexism and no, hold on. Coming up next on stereotypes, we get racism. Then we'll get religion. Then we get sexuality stereotypes. All the stereotypes. Damn, it was just getting good. Damn it, it was just getting good. We should go see what's happening, shouldn't we? Yeah, let's go. You are completely out of line, Commander. I thought I told you to stand down. Do you not recognize who you're speaking to? Let go of Lady Frega! I can't really do that, Your Highness. Esther, what's going on? It's Lord Frega. He was found murdered in his study. And his cretins thinks that Beatrice is behind it somehow. Sorry, Your Highness, but my orders came straight from Stillwind. Lady Stillwind sent you? Beatrice takes in a deep breath and claps her hands together. I should go with them. What? No! My brother is right. They have no right to. I don't want to cause friction between you and Arya. She's always been meticulous. I'm sure she's just being careful. I'm sure I'll be exonerated once they thoroughly investigate what happened. Okay. Only if that's what you truly want. What? You can't just let them take her away? Brother, she's correct. It is not our place to interfere with the law of of our kingdom. What? It is your kingdom, you're the... Okay, whatever. But, however... Yes, your highness? Miss Beatrice is blind. One of your knights will need to escort her. She's what? Did he say she's blind? And there's the blindness again. Anyways, we're gonna need to take you to our holding cell, lady. One of you should stay with her and guide her through. Please, I may be disabled, but I'm not a child. Beatrice walks past the knight and heads towards the foyer. It appears she already knows the way out. Shouldn't you all be following her? Right, Inquisition, move out! You definitely didn't expect the knight to go like this. Just what is going on here? Yeah, definitely keep in mind I'm definitely gonna write romance someday. But it'll be like... Actually no, I'll just leave that for the future. Still, like... I can't believe they kept us here until noon. The Lost Balls was already running well into the night, even before the murder occurred. You did nothing more than to catch up on your lost sleep, but you made a promise to Esther. This doesn't make any sense. Beatrice was with me and my brother the entire night. Right, you were there when she met with him and still with. She couldn't have stolen the soul of spell eating and have murdered her father. I don't understand. Of all the people who could have done this, why would Stillman suspect a blind woman? Mr. Cuthbert, could you defend Beatrice against these awful charges? I don't think I even need to. What? Beatrice is Ruby's client. I'm sure she'll be the one defending her. Well, that certainly puts my mind at ease. Not really. What's wrong? I don't know if I'm asking too much, but could you still investigate the crime scene for me, Mr. Cuthbert? What? But we just said Miss Tamari will... I know, and I don't doubt her abilities, but Beatrice is a dear friend of mine, and I like every chance for her to be found innocent. He said that she was a dear friend. They must know each other since she's a Frega, but why would Miss Tamara of all people represent a member of a noble house? There's still a lot of things you don't know about her. Of course, I'll compensate you for your services. Consider yourself blessed. A commoner like you could only dream of a job like this. Elric. The tiny prince has a point though. A payment from a crown prince does sound tempting. I can't believe this. Solis returns to the ballroom. She shakes back into her normal clothes. What's wrong? The people in the courtroom said they couldn't find my sword. They told me that someone must have stolen it. What? Huh. Why would someone want to steal Celeste's sword? Aside from your group, everyone else at the ball was an air scrap. You do recall her saying it was forged in the Eastern Kingdom. Someone might have stolen because of its rarity. We could probably keep an eye out for it while we investigate the matter. This might all be just some kind of mistake. I hope so. Okay, the sword is definitely the two sword swap, that's my theory. I mean, you come on. Come on! I hope so. But anyways. Where should we start first? We should head to the crime scene. I remember hearing they found Lord Frega's body in his study. Let's go over there. Let's go over there. Alright. To be honest, it looks kind of tacky. The notion of aesthetics must have fallen over the heads of peasants like us. The baking houses are all loaded, aren't they? Anyway, it doesn't seem like there's any more dialogue here.
Repario Arcanum!
Well, may as well. Well, we're going straight to the room. You arrive at the crime scene and see the usual swarm of Inquisition Knights. However, you also spot some members of the King's Guard. They must be working together since the victim is one of the Pillar families. I wasn't expecting to see you here, Mr. Cuthbert. I thought Ruby Tamora was defending this case. Prosecutor Stillwin approaches you as you enter the study, and she's followed by an unexpected yet familiar face. Wallace, what are you doing here? He's here as my aide for the investigation. You don't doubt Wallace's ability, but you can't think of any reason why Stillwind would need his help. But you swear it's none of your business. Anyways, we're here on behalf of Crown Princess Esther. You hired us to investigate this case independently. I see. I'm sure you just want to make sure the investigation is going smoothly. Well, if you're here on behalf of His Highness, I'll do whatever I can to help you. This whole situation is unorthodox, but your goal remains the same. Perhaps Stillman can tell you more about what happened. Hold on a second. What's wrong? You can't see it, but the entire room is covered in traces of abduction magic. Everything is glowing white. Right, that makes sense. There were several anti-magic fields covering the manor. The field probably left traces of abductions everywhere. I won't bother showing you the traces of abductions I find while we're here.
Repario Arcanum!
There are traces of illusion magic where the body was. The assailant must have used some kind of magical disguise. Or they turned themselves invisible? Interesting. Yep, let's talk to her. The murder. What can you tell me about the murder? William Ferrier was found dead in this room after the lockdown was lifted. Lockdown? What lockdown? From what we can tell, his throat has been slashed open with a letter opener. The cause of death was blood loss. Both of his carotid arteries were severed. Whatever. Here's the autopsy report if you want a detailed description. Were you able to find the murder weapon? Yes. The murderer left it at the crime scene. It was the opener owned by the victim. The murder must have been found in this room and used it. There was one strange detail about the weapon. The handle was completely shattered. I'm not sure what to make of that detail, but as if something crushed the handle under tremendous force. What could have caused the handle to shatter like that? You mentioned there was a lockdown. When did this happen? You didn't notice? The Christian did try to be discreet, but everyone knows the commotion Beatrice and the two princes made over it. I suppose you two must have been lost in your own little world, weren't you? Anyways, you said that they were dancing through the entire lockdown. That's funny. Anyways, you said that Lord Fergus' body was found after the lockdown. That means something else must have happened prior. Supposedly, someone had broken into one of the Haraldson's exhibits. One of the magical artifacts was stolen. So there was a theft last night. Does the manor lockdown seem to behave like the one at the Imperial Academy? The systems are somewhat different. Unlike the Imperial Academy, the lockdown only prevents people from leaving or entering the manor. So not all the rooms were locked? What about this specific room? This room does have abduction rods that locks the door and prevents teleportation in and out of it. In addition to that, the system placed an anti-magic field over the manor. An anti-magic field? What is that? Anti-magic field is a spell that nullifies all magic within it. Wait, didn't you talk about this with, Harold? Okay, whatever. And the system somehow covered the entire manor in this effect. If you notice, there are several purple crystals embedded in the walls of the manor. Each of those crystals produced an anti-magic field during the lockdown. So they weren't there for decoration. So no one could cast magic during the entirety of the lockdown. Not exactly. Someone could have used the stolen artifact to circumvent it. You mentioned though that someone could have used the stolen artifact to get past the anti-magic fields. Which artifact was it? It was the Sword of Spell Eating. That was the demon forge item that could nullify magic. If the legend were true, someone could have used it to counteract the lockdown system. After Lord Harrison's reported the theft, the Inquisition discreetly placed the manor on lockdown. They searched every room in the manor to try to find it, but it was eventually found in Beatrice's bedroom, and that led them to believe that she had stolen it? That's correct. The King's Guard moved to arrest her, but Prince Esther ordered them to step down. He didn't look like she was planning on fleeing, so they planned to wait until after the party had ended. But then they found Lord Frigga's body. Correct. We believe that she used the stolen sword to nullify the magical locks and break into Lord Frigga's study. But if she had the sword, why wouldn't she use that to commit the murder? We're not entirely sure. We have a few working theories. She must have wanted to prevent the theft from being tied to the murder, or perhaps she had more confidence using a knife over a sword. Regardless of her reasoning, it's clear that the sword wasn't the murder weapon, so she's not just being implicit in Lord Frigga's murder, she's also being charged with stealing the Sword of Spell Eating. But what possible reason would she have to do either of those crimes? Since the body was found here, was Lord Friggers locked in this room during the lockdown? Yes, William Friggers knew that his room should have been secured. He was supposedly in a bad mood and had locked himself in this room for most of the night. He refused to let anyone into the room. The only person he spoke to after that was his daughter. His daughter? Are you talking about Miriam? No, Lord Frigger had another daughter. I'm referring to Leif Frigger, Lord Frigger's middle child. She tried to tell her father about the theft, but he was apparently preoccupied with something else. He said he wanted to stay in his study for the rest of the night. When did this happen? It was shortly before the lockdown was activated, a little after 1 a.m. Okay, I was when they said like when I pulled out, I did not expect. I probably didn't pay attention to what the dialogue. Whoops. that's the best part reason I can think of. Anyways, I see. Oh, that's what she looks like. Not another blue-haired child. Talk about. Now she's a blondie. Is she gonna be dumb? Because you know stereotypes. Oh, I mentioned the thing. Stereotypes. Subscribe for my hello YouTubers and PoopTubers. I am now going to be referencing blondie stereotypes. This is radical. Hell yeah. Ugh. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce this one. Anyways, whatever. I'm just gonna call it Leaf. You know what? I'm just gonna call it Blondie from now on. Blondie must have been the last person to see Lord Frigger's alive then. Should speak with her and get more details about Lord Frigger's action that night. By the way, still win. Do you have a map of the manor? I do. Would you like a copy? Please and thank you. Witness. Were there any other witnesses aside from Blondie who saw Lord Frigger's that night? Perhaps someone who heard about what happened from a nearby room? There was someone who heard the altercation, but it was quite obscured. A servant was trapped in a storage room nearby. There was an air vent that connects this room with that storage room. He supposedly heard the sounds of a struggle through that vent. What does this witness hear? There were sounds of a struggle before he heard Lord Frigger's choking on his own blood. When the lockdown was lifted, he informed the Kingtower of what he heard. And that's when they discovered the body. I see. Who was the servant? I believe you actually know him. His name is John. Wait, that guy? Wait, Mr. Huge is here? Never expected to see him here. We just bring it. I mean, to be fair, if it could be used assets, then may as well. Big brain. Here of all places, maybe heard of the altercation. You definitely want to speak with him. And now, Beatrice. I think I'm lacking a lot of information about the defendant. From the way you were both acting, you and Esther seem to know her. Your mentor didn't tell you about her? No, I try not to pry into her business. I see. I honestly don't know much about what happened either. But Beatrice was Lord Figure's eldest daughter and the former heir to House Figure. Former heir? About 5 years ago, she fled Figure's manor and went into hiding. None of us knew where she went. She ignored any attempts that we made to contact her. She even used magic to prevent us from scrying her. Last night, Smalls was the first time in years that Esther and I had seen her. But if that's true, how did Miss Tamara meet her? Would you happen to know why Beatrice was meeting with her father after all these years? I have some ideas, but nothing concrete. I was hoping you could tell me. Tamara and Beatrice have both refused to disclose anything about their meeting. Damn it. What could that meeting have been about? Speaking of which, I haven't seen Tamara anywhere in the matter. As the defense's attorney, I would have thought she'd be here to investigate the murder alongside you. That is strange, but Miss Tamara has always had her own ways of doing things. Perhaps she's using a different strategy? I mentioned she met with her father to request financial aid. Why do you say that? I have it on good authorities that she was deeply in debt. That's the only reason why she would speak with her father after all these years. It's also why I believe she murdered her father. You think she murdered him for his inheritance? It's the only motives that make sense. Alright, there's a lot to work through here. The prosecution will try to assert that Beatrice committed the murder, but why would she have needed to carry out all the actions described? So first we need to narrow down the time in which the murder occurred. After the murder. Right, the murder must have occurred during the lockdown. But that must mean the murder somehow got past the abduction. Okay, yeah, past the predictive's room, blah blah blah. Was both locked teleportation and the teleport magically locked the only door leading into this room. Still, any Christians believe that Beatrice used the sort of spell needed to get past them. Regardless of what they think, we need to assume that the murder used some kind of magic nullification to get into William's study. But that's not necessarily true, is it? Well, the murderer entered the room before William locked it. If they were in the room when William locked it, they would have been trapped here until he decided to leave. Not only that, they would have been discovered the moment the guards entered his study. Maybe they used some kind of invisibility? Or they could have teleported the moment the King's guard unlocked the door? Teleportation didn't occur. We didn't find any traces of conjuration magic. Well, Basilisc's theory of an invisible salient? I'll admit, we did find the traces of illusion magic, but the moment the guards saw the boy, one of them cast detect magic. With that spell, they would have seen any invisible people hiding in this room. Wait, you can use detect magic like that? Of course, it's standard procedure. Like all spells, invisibility leaves traces of the person it's cast on. So, mages can use detect magic as a way to see through invisibility. So we know for sure they weren't here before or after the lockdown. It means they must have whoever committed the murder used some way to bypass the obstructive words that protect this room. Next thing to consider is the murder weapon. It's a letter opener that was presumably owned by William Frege. The murderer probably used it to avoid leaving evidence that incriminated them. Right, the letter opener came from this room. The murderer probably wanted to avoid using a weapon that would have implicated them, so they decided to use it and leave it here after the deed was done. Well, that leaves a glaring hole in the prosecution's case. And what would that be, Mr. Cuthbert? Beatrice Frege is completely blind. Even if she were to somehow break into a highly guarded exhibit, how did she slip past the guards and enter Lord Frege's study? Furthermore, how did she locate the letter opener if she couldn't see it in the first place? None of it makes sense. Committing this murder unseen would have been a tall order for anyone. I can't hardly believe a blind person did all of this. You do well not to underestimate her, Mr. Cuthbert. What? You don't know her as I do. She's far more capable as you realize. She must be the one behind this. I suppose I wouldn't know, but the idea of Beatrice did any of this is ludicrous. I suppose I can't change your mind about that, but I have to ask you a question, Mr. Cuthbert. What would you do if you discovered that one of your clients was guilty? What? I mean, I tend to have an insight to these sort of things, but that would never happen. I already seen your uncanny ability to read people, but I'm only hypothetically speaking. So, what would you do if they were guilty? I suppose I'll withdraw and tell them to find another lawyer. And if no one else would represent them? I don't know. It'll definitely be a hard choice for me, but I'll never be able to represent them if I knew the truth. I just can't stand by and let a murderer escape justice. I see. Why do you ask? No reason. Okay. Anyway, she made her stance clear. You still have a lot of these to follow up on. You should move somewhere else. Reusing assets! Hell yeah! You're a storage room. You enter the storage room, hoping to investigate the air vent connects to Lord Frege's study. When you come across a person laying on the floor. What? Jen, is that you? Oh man, what's with all the noise? I was having such a good nap too. Mr. Huge. Whoa, it's you two! Why are you taking a nap in the storage room? I needed to take a break from all the chaos going on. The King's Son won't let us leave until they finish investigating the murder. And his pompous noble shoot me away when I tried sleeping on one of the couches. I didn't expect anyone to find me here. Anyways, the prosecutor told us that you heard the murder from here. Excuse me, during the murder. During the lockdown. Do you think you can tell us what happened? Sure, why not? My nap's kind of ruined anyways. Okay, let's
Imperio Arcanum!
and there's nothing, alright. There are several boxes in this room, there appears to be cleaning supplies. Oh, that's it. There's a ladder! It's a step ladder! I agree. Oh, that's it? Oh man. Imagine if they had an argument about something that's like step ladder or ladder, that would be cool. If only, if there was a series about that had that. It's an air that leads into Lord Frege's study. Supposedly, Jan heard the altercation between Lord Frege and his assailant through this. Alright. Oh. Alright. So you're working as a servant now? Not exactly, but I was part of the catering staff. Just when I started their own food business after Frege threw us out of the academy. Right, sorry about that. Nah, it's not your fault. Even if Redman was still headmaster, I'm sure the board would have found some other way to get rid of us. Wait, Valiant and Valerie here too? No, they just contracted some staff to Lord Frege's for the Lord's Ball. I think a bunch of other businesses did the same thing. You wonder how they feel about this. They lent their service to the very man who got them fired in the first place. William must have offered them a lot of gold. Now let's talk about the murder. Man, I can't believe I got myself pulled into another murder investigation. Do I have bad luck or what? The prosecutor told us you had heard the altercation through the air vents. Can you tell us exactly what you heard? Well, I didn't hear everything. I was taking a nap in this room when it happened. Why were you napping here? I didn't have a choice. I accidentally closed the door when the lock was engaged. Before I knew it, I was trapped here. Right, you recall still when mentioning that. Anyways, I heard the sound of some kind of struggle going on. I couldn't hear everything, but I heard, well, I figured, who are you? What do you want? That went on for a few seconds, then I heard the sound of someone getting stabbed. Did you hear the voice of the assailant? They didn't say anything, but I did hear them. That voice was really raspy. I think they had a sore throat or something. Or they were trying to mask their voice. Huh, I wonder what that "who are you" part. The storage room? That's meant to be a little more anonymous, but doesn't exactly, you know, because, you know, there could be a disguise going on. Why did you enter the storage room anyways? The servants were complaining about rats running through the air vents, so they sent me to take care of it. I hid one of them in the vents upstairs, and I followed it here. I figured it had nowhere else to go, so I opened it up and put a trap down. After I was done, I tried to leave, but the door was locked. I didn't have much else to do, so I took a nap. Sorry, Harold, but you're a little suspicious. So something is so confusing still. What's going on? You only had a few words before murder struck the final blow. It doesn't give you much to go on, but his testimony could become relevant later. For now, you should probably move somewhere else to gather more information. Right. And now to the reused assets room. Come on, Tracker, where are you? Achoo! As you enter Beatrice's room, is unexpectedly met with a large cloud of dust. Wow, this place has not been cleaned. Oh? Your vision clears up, and you realize there's someone else in the room with you. Sorry, I didn't mean to intrude. No, there's no need to apologize. But I'd like to know what you're doing here. We're here on behalf of the Crown Prince. We're investigating the murder of William Frege. Oh, I see. My apologies, I didn't quite get your name. My name is Blondie. Blondie Step. It's probably not even a Blondie stereotype, it's probably just another character. Anyways. Yep. Whatever your name's, Frege. So this is her. According to Stillwind, she was the last person to see Lord Frege alive yesterday. She might have some information about how he was acting that night. Okay. Alright. I'm sorry for your loss, Frege, but do you mind if I ask you some questions about last night? Of course. Oh, I just realized I could just go... Oh, okay, whatever. Investigator Stillwind told us that you were the last person to see him alive. Did you notice anything unusual about your father's behavior? Well, he was extremely upset about something. I think Beatrice may have offended him during their meeting. The servant said that he wanted to be left alone. He retreated into his study immediately after their meeting. I tried to speak to him when the theft was reported, but he didn't much care about the missing artifact. He told me to leave him alone and that the Kingsguard investigate the sword. He was probably busy. Huh. Now that's an interesting thought. Right. When did you speak with him last? It was before they activated the lockdown. It was a little after 1 AM that night. And do you have any idea of what he was doing in his study? What? No, I have no idea. You take some fear from her. Dave Frege, is there something you're not telling us? It's important that we know about your father's actions before his death. I'm sorry, I don't know anything else. My father was a private man and didn't share much with anyone, even his own family. I wish I could be of more help, but I really don't know anything else. I refuse to believe that's why he was killed. She's clearly holding something back. If you can feel what she was hiding through an argument, she might be more willing to cooperate. But I need more information about William and his will first. In the meantime, we should figure out what else she knows. Hold on, I'm just gonna go back to the study first and present some stuff to her. Oh, neat. Anyways, I have to deal with that later. Oh, right. New dialogue. I wonder how Miriam is taking all this. I'm surprised that you're worried about her. Last I remember, she was quite furious with you two for tricking her. She may be a presumptuous jerk, but she still lost her father. And now her long-lost sister is charged with murder. Yeah, she must be going through a lot. What can you tell me about William Frigga? He was a very chauvinist pig? Wow, that's pretty blunt. Wait, hold on, what's the word? Chauvinistic pig. I think I pronounced that right? Chauvinistic whatever. Pig. Whatever. Piggy pig. My family has been at odds with Frigga as long as we can remember. My father is probably salivating at the thought of Donald Frigga losing its head. Not I doubt his skills, but I choose Wallace as a name? Well, I may have my own reason for choosing him, and he does owe me. Yeah, if it weren't for Miss Dillon, I wouldn't have been able to continue studying necromancy. You've been able to continue studying it? Yeah, Miss Dillon introduced me to Lord Escalopus. He belongs to one of the noble houses that are still allowed to study necromancy. Unfortunately, because of that, they hold very little political power. I'm just glad I'm still able to continue my studies. I see. That's probably all the dialogue then. Why would Harold keep such a dangerous weapon on display? There's value in remembering and honoring our kingdom's history, especially the unsavory parts. Anyways, the exhibits were heavily protected. Only a powerful mage like Beatrice could have broken into them. So even still, it considers Beatrice to be a powerful mage. If it's not too much trouble, do you know how Beatrice became blind? I'm sorry, but I'm not going to discuss that. It will just dig up more wounds, I see. Right, of course. Surely it does know what happened. Yeah, but it's probably not too necessary. It's probably like something that happens too many years ago. Yeah, it's probably not much. Just go through like ones I expect to have dialogue. Okay, there's probably not much yet from him. Never mind. I'm just wasting time, damn it. What's your relationship with Miriam? My youngest sister? I actually don't see her that much. Really? Even though you're sisters? Our lives as Nova has kept us very busy. We really have the time to speak with each other. And ever since Beatrice left the estate, she's been throwing herself into her schoolwork. Aha! Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, let's go back actually. I want to see if unique responses. Come on, give me something. Wait, oh, wrong one. Fuck. Still in. Did the equation happen to find my sword anywhere? Your sword? I can't say I've heard anything about it, and I'm sure the Inquisition would have recognized it. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll find it somewhere. Yeah. Alright, yeah, let's do some dialogue at least. I found one. I found one, guys! Yeah! And no. Even after being blinded, Beatrice continued to fight for her freedom. Despite everything that happened to her, she's always remained determined to live her life on her own terms. I remember when she first came back to the East State after her accident, my father was convinced she would be completely helpless without her sight, but she refused to let her blindness define her. She learned how to navigate the estate using her other senses and continued to study magic. It's ironic, really. My father tried to use disability as a way to control her, but in the end, it was the very thing that allowed her to break free. I'm sure Beatrice's return must have been surprising for you. It is, to be honest. I've been hoping for years she would finally return. But now that she has, she's got pulled into another one of our family's messes. I noticed that this room hasn't been cleaned recently. Do you know why? It's because I forbidden the servants from cleaning this room. And why would you do that? Beatrice is very dear to me. I couldn't bear to have her room disturbed after she left. This room was the only memory I had of her after she left. I suppose that makes sense. She must have been holding on to the hope that her sister would return. What about the sword of spell eating? Do you know how it ended up in this room? I'm not sure. It's possible someone planted it here to frame Beatrice. I can't say why they would choose this room though. What can you tell me about Beatrice's figure? I heard that she fled the figure of estate 5 years ago. Before she left, Beatrice was one of the most powerful mages I ever seen. She is incredible. At the age of 13, her talent for magic had been even eclipsed my father's, but it was never enough for him. What do you mean? Before my mother died, he desperately wanted a son. He only ever had daughters. Everyone thought Beatrice would inherit House Frigga from my father, but our family knew the truth. William Frigga would never leave his legacy in the hands of a woman. What? No matter how hard Beatrice tried, my father never acknowledged her accomplishment. He was extremely cruel to her. He completely belittled her achievements and dismissed everything that she said to him. And after the accident, he used her disability as an excuse to take away the little influence she had. That was an accident that gave her a disability? Is that why she's blind? William Frigga. What kind of person was your father? Doesn't look like William Frigga was very beloved. My father was a complicated man. He was a brilliant scholar and businessman, but was a cold and distant father. See, did he have any enemies? As head of House Frigga, he controlled nearly every banking house in Livinga. There was many people who resented his wealth and power. Can you remember anyone specific? Perhaps someone that he cited recently. There was Lloyd von Sanctions, the ruling house of Aranex? I heard that he was recently involved in a court case. My father had been using the controversy as an opportunity to slowly take control of von Sanctions Industries, and from what I heard, he's been extremely bitter about that. Von Sanctions' reputation might have taken a hit after the Draco Gent trials. He thought he would get himself involved in another murder. But you can never be too sure. You'll want to speak with him and get more details. Although, would he even consider cooperating with you? Anyways, are there any other enemies he might have had? No, none that I can think of. Okay, it's time. to duel. If it's not too painful for you, could you tell me about Beatrice's accident? Is that even relevant to the investigation? Any small detail can make a difference. I need to learn everything I can. I'm not sure about exactly what happened, but it was an magical experiment gone wrong. Beatrice was working on a project at the Imperial Academy. She was trying to create a new spell formula. We're still not sure what happened, but there was an adverse magical reaction. The resulting explosion seriously injured her and left her completely blind. I can't imagine how she must have taken that. Actually, she's probably the most unfazed by what happened. But that didn't matter. My father saw his opportunity. He told me he was relying on relieving her of her duties so that she could recover. But I knew the truth. He was going to take away her political power and social standing. She was reduced to a mere decoration for our home. That must have been why she left. Did she contact you during the time that she was missing? No. No one had heard her during that time. But as much as I was worried for her, I was also a little happy. Unlike Miriam and I, she had finally broken free from my father. I had no idea what would cause her to return here. Alright, there's gotta be something here.
Arcanum.
There's a trace of transmutation magic under the bed. I can't see it clearly, but let me take a closer look. It's Crimson Lotus! What? It's my sword! What? You never knew her sword had a name, so this is where it's been. But why would it be here? This is also the room where they found the spell of spell lady. Are the two deaths related somehow? But why? The only thing similar about them is that they're swords. They're both swords. There's definitely more to this, but what? Hold on a second, I'll just be right back real quick. And I'm back. It's a highly extravagant bed, looks similar to the one in Miriam's dorm. It's a dresser covered in a layer of dust. It looks like it doesn't look like it's been touched in years. It's a table for guests, but it's extremely dusty. And looks like that's it. 1, 2, 3, yep. I think you learned everything you can for now. Perhaps you should move up elsewhere. Okay. Explore the manor further and find one of its many sitting rooms. That's a lot. And oh, him! And there you happen to spot a very familiar face. Hold on, let me just turn on the volume a little bit. It's still somehow too loud. Alright, there we go. There, you happen to spot a very familiar face. He was sipping a glass of wine, and his expression turned disdain the moment you entered the room. Oh, wonderful! As if my day couldn't have gone any worse. Von Sanctions, what are you doing here? The head of a noble house has just been murdered. I can't very well return to Aeronex when my affairs are in such disarray. Anyways, forget what I'm doing here. What are you doing here? Oh, I just wanted to have a friendly chat with one of my favorite notables, man. And you've been keeping busy since we last met. It must have been difficult losing your empire to Lord Faustfrigger. Tyrion, we do need his help. Is that so? What makes you think I ever help the likes of you? Because it will take suspicion off of you, and let's face it, with your reputation, you could use all the help you can get. How dare you! I'll have you know I'm a respected member of the nobility! Respected? Is that why everyone's talking about your hands in Justin Way's death? Because the way I see it, being involved in another scandal will destroy what little remains of your reputation. But it makes no difference to me, to be perfectly honest. I'd like nothing more than to drag you onto the stand and embarrass you a second time. You can practically hear him grinding his teeth together. Very well. If it means I won't have to endure your presence any longer, I will oblige and answer your questions. Oh, go ahead. Honestly, it's just one mess after another with you. Mess? Wouldn't you have much to gain from William Frigger's death? On the surface level, you might be right, but it's a little more complicated than that. House Frigger controls the banking houses. They are the main pillars of support for Ravenscourt economy. William's death could have an unimaginable economic consequences regardless of who inherits his house. I wouldn't be forced to do enough to do something like that. That remains to be seen. Think what you will. There are others who would benefit from William Frigger's death. You mentioned that other people would benefit from Frigger's death. Who specifically? If I had to venture a guess, I would say Lucio Stillwind benefits the most. Do you mean the prosecutor's father? But he said law figures could have unimaginable consequences for the economy. Do you think that brute cares about Ravenscourt economy? No, all that man cares about is power. Pure and physical power. House Stillwind and House Frigger has been fighting for control of Ravenscourt for generations. And in this long-lasting era of peace, the Stillwind's military may have become far less valuable to the crown. If it weren't for Lady Stillwind's engagement to the Crown Prince, they might not even be considered a pillar family anymore. The death of William Frigger is probably exactly what Lucio Stillwind has been waiting for. And if our economy were to suffer, it would cause civil unrest. In a scenario like that, the crown would have to rely on Stillwind's force to maintain order. That does make sense, but could Arya's father really be involved in this? It's clear that you think Luke, still would have much to gain from this, but can you think of anyone else? Well, there's Harold Harrelson. That can't be his real name. But what would Mr. Harrison possibly gain from Frigga's death? Yeah, I was just thinking about that, like, but Harold Harrison, that is very creative name. From what I heard, William was planning to defund the Harrison Hall of History. Really? Why would he do that? I'm not sure of the specifics, but supposedly Lord Harrison has refused to omit the less flattering parts of whoever's got history from his exhibits. It's gonna be enough that he's drawn the ire of the king himself. They actually got into a very heated argument during the Lord's Ball about it. I heard that William declared he would be removing House Harrison from his estate. You don't want to suspect Mr. Harrison, but you need to examine every possibility. Mr. Curator, he would have the easiest access to the sort of spell eating, and he could have staged a robbery to cover his tracks. At the very least, you should give Mr. Harrison a chance to explain himself. What can you tell me about the defendant in this case? Oops. What? She's your client! Surely you know her better than I! Humor me. Well, I'm sure you're aware that she fled the Fergus estate 5 years ago. In doing so, she dealt a blow to flawed House Fergus' reputation and directly insulted the Crown Prince by breaking her engagement with him. To him. Oh, okay. Wait, Beatrice was engaged to Esther? Yes, it was quite the scandal at the time. And Lucio Bush wasted no time in pushing his daughter into taking Beatrice's place. Is that why those three were so awkward last night? Honestly, this situation is just a blatant, absolute mess, and a woman's return will complicate things. Her return complicates things? What do you mean by that? Do you find Beatrice's return to be inconvenient for you? What are you on about now? Please, don't insult my intellect, Lord Sanctions. Fine. If you must know, my son was arranged to marry William's daughter, Leaf. Leaf? Since Beatrice has shown no sign of returning, it was apparent that Leaf would inherit House Frigga instead of her. I know when my days are numbered, so I took preempted action. William wanted a male heir, and I needed to preserve my house, so we both came to an accord. My son and Leaf were arranged to be wed. House 1 station would have been absorbed, but at least my Jaden would stand at the helm of House Frigga. You know what's absolutely awful. I should consider myself lucky. I guess that's her character arc for this episode. Or case, whatever. Chapter. Think what you will. I wouldn't expect a commoner to understand. That's the problem with your generation. You have no sense of duty or obligation. Leaf has already expressed resistance to this marriage, even though she was well aware of the details. Now our worry she'll hide behind her sisters to end the engagement altogether. Leaf never mentioned any of this. As much as you hate to think it, William's death would get her out of this arranged marriage. You should talk to her about this. Anyways, function as giving you a decent list of suspects. You probably learned everything you can from him for now. Then it would be best to move on and follow up on these leads.
Repario Arcanum.
It's a chair made from mahogany. Gani. Every part of this house exudes wealth. Wealth that's been siphoned out of the common folk. It's a penny of some travel in a tavern. Wouldn't surprise me if these were like the this must be Beatrice's figure. Beatrice's figure, the first. The first? According to legend, she was one of the descendants of the 7 heroes of Ravengard. She joined a band of adventurers that were traveling across the nation. It's hard to imagine figures came from such humble beginnings. Wait, what? What is it now? Yeah, that masculine man in the college, he just vanished. What are you on about? There was never a man there. Sorry, Tyrion, but he's right. No, I'm sure he was there. Are you feeling okay? Perhaps your lack of sleep is making you seeing things that aren't there. Ah. Ah. It's a shelf filled with books. Fake books, they're clearly blank. This is all that leads to the courtroom. Anyway, is that everything? It's as if every room in this house needs a chandelier. What a waste of the kingdom's gold. You return to the gallery. One of them is missing. You return to the gallery and see a legion of knights inspecting the crime scene. However, you don't see Mr. Harrison anywhere. The critter must be questioning him. Perhaps you should fall another way while you wait for him to return. Yeah, it's empty. Alright, let's get to the bedroom again. Lady Figure seems to be hiding what her father was doing in the study. You know she's doing this out of malice. She might not even think that's relevant to the case. But William Figure had many enemies, and retreated into the study to do something that night. And that something could be related to why he was murdered. Let's do this! You said something you're not telling us, Leaf. Because I have a feeling that you know more than you're laying on. What? What was your father doing in this study? I already told you, I don't know. My father was a private man. He wouldn't share something like that with me. Okay, though. Okay. Yeah, to be fair, I'm just jumping ahead and probably, yeah. I have no idea. was making some sort of changes to his will, wasn't he? What? Did someone else tell him? Why did you find the need to hide this from us? I didn't! Thought you saw earlier seems to disagree with that. We only just met today, so I understand why if you don't trust us. But the Christian thinks that Beatrice murdered your father, and they claim that she did so for his inheritance. That's absolutely absurd! Regardless, your father's inheritance is the likely motive behind his murder. Many people would have a lot to gain from his death, including you. Excuse me? How could you even think that I'd be capable of something like this? I didn't mean to imply that you were involved in this, but it's clear that the murder's motive was to take control of House Figures. This means their plan heavily relied on who William Figure was leaving his assets to. So I need to know, Miss Figures, how is your father's plan to change his will? I don't know. I already told you my father was a secretive man. He didn't share his details of his estate with me. Is that really true though? What? I already know about your arranged marriage to Jane von Sanctions. And I also know that, as a part of the deal, Jane would inherit House Figure instead of you. You definitely knew about this, and you heavily resisted the marriage in an attempt to stall it. Which means you had some idea of how your father's will was arranged. So what aren't you telling me, Miss Figures? I can't trust you. What? You're here on behalf of Crown Prince Esther. The Four Pillar family and the Crown have much to gain from my father's death. How can I assure that this information won't be used against my family? So that's why she's being so secretive. There's nothing I could possibly say to make you trust me. Please understand, I'm only trying to find out who murdered your father. And to do that, I need to know everything that he was doing that night. Yay! I have no reason to trust you, but somehow I can tell you're being sincere. Will you really protect Beatrice? You're about to reassure her that you will, but something in the back of your mind stops you. I'll get to the truth of what really happened. Okay, if that's truly what you're planning to do, I'll tell you what I know. Alright, what was William doing? I was trying to be uncooperative, but I didn't know who I could trust. Considering the circumstances, that's perfectly understandable. I'm not sure why, but my father was extremely upset that night. According to him, Beatrice had returned and was even more impudent than before. He must have been angry about what she said during their meetings. Did he tell you what their meeting was about? He didn't, and I honestly didn't care. I was just so happy that my sister had finally returned. My father clearly felt the opposite. Before he ended his study, he told me that he would be pruning the family tree. He was going to disinherit my sister and several other members of our family. He was probably started drafting a new will to reflect that decision. Has anyone else found the draft of this will? No. It was one of the first things I looked for after the investigation began. The modified will is missing? He doubted that it would even be enforced. He never got the chance to submit it or probate it before he died. But I can't discount the possibility that the murderer destroyed it. Did anyone else know about this? No one. I didn't even tell Lady Stillman when she was questioning me. Because it would have given Beatrice a motive to commit the murder? Anyway, thank you, Miss Frigga. Mr. Chabert. Yes? My sister is not a bad person. There's no way she'll do something like this. Despite what she says, she seems to have some doubts. She's in good hands. Maybe tomorrow is the one defending her in the trial after all. I hope so. Anyways, you think you learned everything you can from Leaf. There's only one person to speak with, Harold Harrison. This is a complete mess. As you enter the gallery, you spot Harrison inspecting the shattered remains of a display case. If you recall correctly, the display case, as you looked at once, held the sword of spell eating. Oh, Mr. Chabert, I had a feeling I'll be seeing you again. He's working for the Crown Prince. Can he be trusted? It seems word has spread about your deal with Esther. Hello again, Mr. Harrelson. Harold. Right. Harold, I'm sure you already know I'm investigating the murder of William Frigga, and the prosecution suspect that someone used the sword of eating to break into Lord Frigga's room. I was wondering if I could ask you some question about the theft last night? I'll tell you what I can, but I'm not sure how much help I'll be. Can't believe a museum owns such a powerful magic item. I would have expected the noble's house to take them for themselves. Well, the nobilities of today don't have much use for items such as these. The power of a lord is based on politics rather than magical strength, and a noble wouldn't want to yield the sword of a demon even if the legends are just stories. A demon? Oh right, the sword of spell eating is said to have been forged from a pact between a demon and a mage. Isn't making a pact just asking for trouble? That will definitely betray the first chance they got. Well, legend says that demons often drafted blood contact for this reason. Wait, do you mean like a legally binding contact? The concept is similar, but once you sign a blood pact, both you and the demon are magically compelled to fulfill its terms. It's said that violating its terms will result in instant death for the offender, no matter who it is. So I guess there's some protection. Well, as an attorney, I'm sure you'd understand that it's possible to exploit and use loophole in any contract. And according to the legend, demons take great pride in their ability to deceive and corrupt people. According to the prosecution, the theft took place during the Lord's Ball. Shouldn't there have been plenty of witnesses in the gallery at that time? That's the strangest thing. Supposedly, the gallery room was completely empty when it happened. What? That can't be right. In honesty, I had no idea how anyone could produce enough magic to shatter the display case anyways. Were the words protecting the case that powerful? They were powerful, but that's not the issue here. It would be one thing to dispel the walls and remove the glass protecting it, but it's another thing entirely to completely annihilate the objections was and shatter the glass. Doing something like that would require an extremely powerful spell, far more powerful than what could have been needed. Alright. So you're saying that the force applied was excessive? Yes, and that's not the worst of it. It's clear that the sword... Yeah, right, the vitality. It's clear that the sword of spell eating wasn't the only thing that was stolen. Yeah, are you stupid? You mentioned that another item was stolen. Yes, it's extremely concerning. After the sword of sword eating was reported missing, I checked the other exhibit. That's when I discovered the armbands of intellect has been stolen as well. And unlike the sword of spell eating, we still haven't found the armbands. Look at the glass case where the armbands used to be. They've been removed, but the glass case is completely intact. The thief didn't shatter the glass. Exactly. Moreover, the armbands were actually replaced with a very well-made replica. What? What is going on here? Two thefts are completely different from one another. Are they even related, or two different thieves can coincidentally steal from Harold that night? You mentioned that someone would have needed a powerful spell to shatter the display case. Wouldn't that narrow down the list of suspects for the theft? Not everyone attending the ball could cast spells that powerful. Well, according to their questions, Beatrice's Frega's magic was powerful enough to have done this. Discounting the fact that she was completely blind. Yes, I'm well aware of that, and that doesn't sit quite right with me either. Was there anyone else at the Lord's Ball capable of matching Beatrice's power? Only the heads of the four pillars could have involved magic this powerful. But apparently, Beatrice's is an exception to that. Is Beatrice's really that powerful? Or is she being scapegoated by one of the house leaders? But the cave can be open normally, can't they? Otherwise, how would you transport the artifacts from place to place? Ah yes, the magical locks on the gate can be disabled. You detect some fear, is he hiding something? How are they normally disabled? They can be turned on and off using a spoken spell. And how many people know this spell? Only myself. I personally oversee the transportation of these items when they're moved. Alright. So Harold could have stolen the sword that night. Could he have staged the robbery to cover his tracks? Anyways, Harold, witness told us that you got into an argument with William Fregas on the night of the murder. Was William Fregas planning on funding the Harold of Hall of History? Yes, he was. He made that very clear. But that doesn't mean I had anything to do with his murder. I'm not saying that you did, but I need to explore every possibility. So I need to ask, did your argument in that night turn hostile? I'll admit that our discussion turned heated, but it never escalated to threats or violent. With how insulting he was, it should have. William was being unreasonable, and I was frustrated. But that's all there was to it. He deserved what happened to him. The eye shows more resentment than he's laying on. Did you have any conflicts with him prior to that night? We had our disagreements in the past. He was receiving pressure from the royal family about what I was displaying in my museum. The king believed that my exhibit were too controversial for the public eye. What do you mean? I'm sure you noticed the rising tension between the common folks and the nobility. I never once been one to shy away from the bloodier parts of God's history. The system must know about these parts of history, otherwise we're liable to repeat them. However, the king believed that all historical exhibits did nothing but dig up old wounds, nothing but simpletons, the lot of them. The nobility thinks they can smooth public relations by censoring history, as if they couldn't get any worse. Anyways, it's clear that Harold is passionate about his work. Would that passion drive him far enough to commit murder, though? Well, thank you for your time, Harold. Harold, I think we'll be on our way now. That's funny. We have a lot of info, but none of it really leads anywhere. So many people had a motive to murder William Frege, but who really actually did it? Perhaps you should take some time to review everything you learned. Motives aside, let's go for the events that happened last night. It all started when the Sword of Spelling was stolen. We don't have a specific suspect, but we do know something about them. It would be one thing to spell the words and remove the glass protecting it, but it's another thing. Yep. Thief was a powerful mage. That's the only way that they could have shattered the magical reinforced glass. But what about Harold? He could have unlocked it using his password. He could have stolen the sword and staged a robbery, but he couldn't have shattered the glass. Only a powerful mage could have done that, and I doubt Harold would lie about that when he could have easily confirmed it. Could easily confirm it was still win. Right. But then what happens next? They recently stole this sort of spelling. This caused Harold to report the theft to the King's Guard. After Lord Harold reported the theft, everything goes on lockdown. Found it in Beatrice's bedroom, and it's stolen. Tried to arrest her, stepped down. Something about that. So he wanted to be left alone, he treated his studies immediately after the meeting. Tried to speak, yada yada yada. After 1 AM. Let's go super. Oh yeah, we already know that part. I thought we already went through this, okay? I was thinking there's gonna be more to this, that part. Well, let's see what happens next. Well, it's probably just a recap for anyone new, but you know, saved and then goes out and then goes back to the game again. Have to use the sword, then anti-magic field. We haven't even spoken to all the suspects yet, right? You never got the chance to speak with Lucia Stillwind, they might give it a session. Well, if that would be even possible. Either way, it's a good start. It's not as if we're defending this case. Trial's getting close anyways. I don't doubt this tomorrow's ability, but you should share about what you learned with her before the trial begins. It's a little strange you haven't seen her since the investigation began. She might have been meeting with Beatrice at the dungeon. And yep, we're going to the dungeon. You arrive at the dungeon and search for Miss Tamora. She wasn't at the crime scene. She must have been here to discuss the case with Beatrice. Or at least that's what you thought, but you don't see her anywhere. Oh, Mr. Jabern? Oh, hi. You were so caught up in your thoughts you didn't notice that you were walking right in front of Beatrice's cell. I didn't expect to see you here. Ah! So that's a shriek as Ares approaches you two from behind. For a split second, you see her hand done towards the sword. You see that she hasn't got over the instinct fear of Ares. Ares? What are you doing here? Ah, Beatrice is actually an acquaintance of my father. He sent me here to help her through this ordeal. That brings up many more questions, but you don't have time to pull on that thread. You have less than an hour before the trial begins. You need to find Miss Tamora. Haven't you seen Miss Tamora? I have some things to share with her. Ah, she was just here, but she left to retrieve some documents from the office. Do you have any ideas when she'll be back? She didn't say. Maybe it's because it has to do with the case? I could pass the message on to her. I feel a little hesitant for some reason, but it is her life on the line. If anyone should know about what you found during your investigation, it's her. Okay, let me tell you what I know. Yeah, it's been, obviously. I see. You certainly been very thorough. Yes, but I still have no concrete evidence that points to anyone. We underestimated it. If he reveals he's finding to Prince Esther, he might suspect something. What? Sorry, I was just deep in thought. And you were able to catch one of those thoughts. Beatrice. I'm sure you're aware Prince Esther has your best interest at heart. I know. Even though we haven't spoken for 5 years, I still consider him a dear friend. Then I suppose you have no issue with me sharing these findings with him. Of course not. This is bad. Even he wouldn't support us if he knew what I was involved. What was that? The sword just said that she was involved. Did she actually murder her father? Is something wrong, Mr. Japan? You look a little pale. Beatrice was actually behind this? But how? She's completely blind. She couldn't have navigated through the manor and avoided the guards. No, you must be taking her thoughts out of contact. That's it. Bishop of Bird. Perhaps you should probably get some rest. You look dreadfully tired. You think carefully about what to say next. There's one way to get an answer through the eye. But if you're wrong, Beatrice, you weren't actually involved in this, were you? Tyrion? You see her gaze narrow in response to your question. Once again, she clasps her hands together and she clearly is trying to stay calm. Do you suspect me now, Cuthbert? You didn't answer my question, Beatrice. As if I need to justify it with a response. But no, Mr. Cuthbert, I was not responsible for my father's murder. At least not directly. I was technically an accomplice. An accomplice? Did she work together with someone? Cuthbert? Miss Tamara? Your mentor seems to have... Okay, I think I'm piecing together what happened. Your mentor seems to have sensed the mood in the air. She sensed an eyebrow at you. Miss Tamara, can I speak with you alone for a second? Okay. What's wrong? Is everything okay? Miss Tamara. Beatrice, she actually did murder William Frigga? Miss Tamara's gaze narrows. Her eyes dart around the room to make sure the guard didn't overhear you. What are you talking about? How could you possibly know that? I used the Eye of Horus on her. She conspired with someone else to orchestrate William Frigga's death. Have you told anyone else about this? No, it's not as if they would believe me anyways. You're the only person who knows about my ability. Okay, just stay quiet about this for the time being. Anyways, I need to get ready. Trial starts in half an hour. What? You're not seriously going to defend her, are you? Of course I am. I am her attorney. But she's guilty. I saw it. Look, at this point, I don't know what you saw. You think I can just abandon the clan minutes before a trial? No, but it's not for either of us to decide who's guilty or who's not. Everyone has a right to an attorney. Our courtroom system needs a defense attorney and a prosecutor to keep things fair. More importantly, you had no right to use the Eye of Horus on my client without my permission. What? But I don't have time to argue about this. We'll be talking about this later. Before you even have a chance to respond, Miss Tamara walks away. Celeste sees both of you and awkwardly approaches you. Hey, Tyrion, is everything okay? Celeste, I think Beatrice was actually behind this. What? You don't blame her for not believing you, not as if you could tell her about the Eye of Horus, although why haven't you told her? Alright, I believe you. What? You wouldn't say something like that if you weren't sure, right? But if what you're saying is true, what do we do now? You think long and hard for a moment. I don't think we need to do anything. What? Stillman is handling the prosecution. It's just definitely no pushover. If Beatrice is definitely really guilty, I'll just have to trust her to get the job done. Either way, I don't think we're in any position to get involved. Alright, if you say so. It's really none of your business. You have no stake in this. You're not obligated to do anything. You've done everything you can. It's in their hands now. It's none of your business. This isn't your fight. William Frigga was a tyrant and a bigot anyway. He's a noble who did nothing but steal wealth from the common folk. The world is better off without him. It's not as if you didn't try. All you have to do is wait for the trial to run its course.
Objection!
Your Honor, I'm afraid you can't pass the verdict just yet. Mr. Cuthbert? Cuthbert? What the hell are you doing? I don't know. But what I do know is there was a massive contradiction in Marion Frigga's testimony. Who were you kidding? As if you were the type to stand by and do nothing. And I think I'll be finishing off here. Wait, why do I have this much? I mean, 2. You want to just get rid of this one? Alright. So, we already know she's an accomplice. She's the murderer. I'm going to say that right now. There's no reason why, you know, such a thing is happening. Obviously, the monkey was the one in the vents earlier. Like, you know, it was mentioned that, you know, there's like a... Hold on. Rats in the vent? Yeah. The sound of a rat in the vent, but it's really just like the monkey for some reason. We don't know why exactly, but they were involved. Indirectly, not really involved in the murder himself, as we already know, through the Eye of Horus. Also, yeah, he was kind of abusing that way too much, honestly. Either way, I'm gonna have to finish things off here. Well, I had fun. Now I got things to do, like sleep and work on my stuff. And job hunts and all that stuff. How exciting, that last one, especially. Yay! Job hunting! Yay! Well, that was fun. Good night.